Yeah, can you talk a little bit about that balance between not just the stuff that they're doing with you, but then you mentioned nutrition, you mentioned physical therapy, and then I know that Exos brings in other guys like a Lorenzo Alexander to work with the linebackers, and you have a wide receivers coach to work with wide receivers. What's the priority when guys are coming in? Like, what takes priority and says, hey, they absolutely have to do this today, and then if we can fit in a lift or if we can fit in skills work, we'll do that. So what takes priority?
So we've been doing this for 20 plus years of kind of building out this program. So we have I mean, I hate to say secret sauce or anything like that.
Right.
We're very open about what we do, but we know kind of the formula of how much speed work we need, how much linear speed work, how much multi-direction, how much lifting, lower body, upper body, position work, all of that. So that's already built out in the program. We're training 6 days a week. 5 weeks of the 8 week program, they're doing 3 days of position work, skill work, and each one of those is about an hour, hour and a half. One of those 3 days is going to be film work, where they're just on the board, they're watching film, they're doing review and breakdown. And then they're doing 3 to 4, depending on the week, linear speed sessions where we're just focusing on their 40. That's the big test. And then
Right.
1 to 2 multi-direction sessions. And inside of that, there's lower body lifts during the week. They're lifting every day. There's upper body, depending on the week. So the way we have the program built out is really set up to maximize the potential of the athlete so that they're prepared and peaking at the right moment. We're treating this like an event, not necessarily a season preparation. Right. NFL vet is completely different. We're preparing them for a long season. NFL combine is we're preparing you for 1 day for a very specific set of testing, and we want you to peak for that event. So all of that is kind of built out prior, and then we individualize the program as we get our guys in and put them through testing. We'll put them through all of our sports science stuff, force decks. We'll put them through a number of tests, from NordBoard to force frame to running our first 40, and then we'll build out a specific program for each guy.
The evolution of the combine process and the scouting process over the last 20 years is fascinating from a football standpoint. It's fascinating from this side, from the training side of it. And as you mentioned, you guys have been doing this for so long, and this becomes very personalized. So I'm curious to you, what have been some of the big changes that have happened in your time doing it? Because, like, yeah, everyone talks about the 40. It's super sexy, but we know at certain positions especially, they're way more interested in the 10-yard split, or they might not care about the 40 at all, and it's all about the 20-yard shuttle. And so as what teams they're looking for has changed, and you guys have been able to have conversations with teams and agents and players over the years of what translates and what the scouts are looking for, what has been to you some of the bigger changes that have happened in your time doing this?
I think the biggest one was the COVID year. I mean, that one was where it threw everything into a loop. Our training program had to be revisited, just from trying to make sure that guys weren't mixing in groups, and there was COVID protocols, so we had to revisit the entire program. That was also the year that they canceled the combine in Indianapolis, so everybody ran at Pro Day. And I think what that did was put a little bit more emphasis on what guys are doing at Pro Day, and understanding that maybe you don't need to do everything in Indianapolis, And that's, again, we can be more specific to each guy and say, the bench press is a perfect example. So this year, they took the bench press and they put it on the same day as the 40. And I'm not going to allow any of my athletes to go out there and bench press 20 reps of 225 if they're anywhere under a 4.9. So, because you're just going to fry your nervous system. And then
Right.
what is really the big hitter, the bench press or the 40? So
Right.
we had, 130 guys across the facility. Every facility, we had 54 guys at our facility, and maybe 3 of them benched, 2 of them bench pressed. And those guys weren't running 40s because they had something going on. So that was a good example of, we've started to look at it as we can split this into a 2-day or a 2-event type of a process and really individualize it for each athlete. So COVID switched that up. COVID put more emphasis on what we're doing at Pro Day, and allowed us to focus more on what we're going to do in Indy versus what we're going to do at Pro Day.
So the reverse of the things that have changed over the years since you've got there, what are the things that are maybe the same over the past 20 years? Like, what are the things that Dennis Logan and Nick Winkelman did that Nic Hill still does?
Yeah, I mean, the kind of the heritage of this company and what we've done over the last 20 plus years, and the coaches, the amazing coaches that have come through this facility. And I take it just as an honor to be able to kind of step into that role that Nick Winkelman was in. I mean, at one point, Mark Verstegen was running this program. And
right.
It's something that we understand and we take a lot of pride in as a company across all facilities. And I'm a younger coach. I've been doing this now in this program for 6 years. But it's just crazy to look back and think about those legends and like those very elite guys, and you think of yourself as being in that spot. And I mean, I don't look at myself that way as a GOAT or a legend or whatever you want to call it. I just kind of see myself as wanting to get these guys better. And what they did before us laid the foundation, and I think we continue to evolve the program and look at it with a different set of eyes and a different lens, and put my own style on it and put my own little tweaks into it. But they built the foundation for years and years, and so you're just trying to kind of carry on that legacy.
How scary is that when you look at something and you're like, I think we might want to change this, but I know that Dennis or Mark, put that in place. Like, what are those conversations like, in both internally in your own head and with your team there at EXOS?
I mean, I think you just kind of have to trust who you are as a coach and know that, what you're doing is what you think is best for that athlete. And then the other great part is we have 4 other amazing speed coaches across our facilities that you can bounce ideas off of. Roy Holmes, I can call Brent Calloway or Anthony Hobgood, and we get on calls regularly and just kind of troubleshoot things. Or, if I have a guy that I'm having trouble with, I'll go hit one of them up and say, hey, this is the issue. What would you do? Or do you have any guys like this? And so to have those resources, yes, it's me and I'm the speed coach in Arizona, but really these athletes that train here have 3-4 other speed coaches that they're getting coached from, because we're all using each other as resources. So it gives you more confidence doing it. But at the end of the day, I think, those prior coaches also look into this program and say, we trust those coaches to continue the legacy as well. So.
Right.
The Train with the Best podcast is brought to you by Momentous. Momentous is a performance nutrition company whose products optimize your active life. It's trusted by over 150 pro and collegiate sports teams, individual athletes to, again, the team sports, to folks like us are using Momentous each and every day to not only perform better, but to feel better. Whether it's their line of vitamins, like their multivitamin, vitamin D, magnesium, all those kinds of supplements, to their creatines and their collagen supplements, to recovery products, such as their protein. And of course, the ultimate recovery product, Elite Sleep. Get more out of your sleep. Momentous has you covered in each and every facet of your athletic endeavors.